In email marketing, on average, you make $42 back for every $1 spent. But that only happens if people open your emails to begin with. So how do you get people to open them? With a strong subject line. If your open rate is low or non-existent, then your subject line isn't doing its job. So today I want to tell you how to write a subject line that gets people to open. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brandy with LYFE Marketing, the digital marketing agency with a mission to help small businesses grow. Before we get into it today, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the marketing videos that we put out every week to help you grow your business. All right, so when it comes to writing a subject line, the goal is twofold. Enticing the viewer enough to want to open it while remaining on topic with what the email is actually about. The problem I see with a lot of subject lines is they're not doing one or both of those two things. They're either not interesting enough to make the viewer want to click on the email, or they're so outrageous and clickbaity that they do get the click but don't get the sale because the content of the email doesn't align with the subject line. Or there is a third instance where the subject line is again so clickbaity that it actually gets directed to spam, so the customer never even sees it to begin with. The tips I'm sharing today are going to help you avoid all three of these scenarios and instead create a subject line that hooks people's attention and gets them to convert. Now, before we move on, I want to say if you're completely new to email marketing, I do have an email marketing for beginners video that I would strongly suggest you check out next. I will link it below. Otherwise, let's get into the first step. Write down a list of your customers' goals and pain points. Now, if you've watched our channel for a while, you should be good to go on this step with the amount of times I have told you guys to do this. Writing a list down of your customers' pain points and goals will tell you exactly what your customers care about as it relates to your product or service. One example I've shared before is if you're a restaurant owner and you keep putting out content about your combo deals or how affordable the meals are, but you're not getting any foot traffic from it, it could be that budget is not your audience's number one concern. It could be that they care more about the food being fresh, organic, or farm to table. And you would know that if you created a list of your audience's goals and pain points based on the research you perform. So the same principle applies to your subject lines. If you're not getting many opens, then you first need to make sure the topic of your emails include topics your audience even cares about. So if you need help getting started with your goals and pain points list, I will link these two videos for you to watch next. All right, the next step after you've done that is to create a list of email topics you want to send. Based on your audience's goals and pain points, what emails can you send that will resonate with them? Write down topic ideas that would either show them how to achieve their goals or help solve a pain point that they have. Now, if you want more guidance on the body of the email and what to write there, I will link our entire email marketing playlist for you to check out. There are some good tips in there. But for this video, I want to stay focused on the subject line. Now, I will say, depending on your creative process, it may be easier for you to write the body of the email first and then go back and do the subject line. Or you may find it easier to write the subject line first. Either way, it doesn't matter. I personally find it easier to write the body of the email first and then go back and write the subject line accordingly, but do whatever works best for you. Because either way, once you know what topics you want to focus on in your emails, from there you can start writing the subject line for each email. So step 3 is to write a first draft of your subject line. Write the topic of the email. Don't try to make it really juicy and enticing yet. Just write out a subject line about the body of the email. Let's do one together. Let's say you sell yarn and knitting supplies and you are sending an email with a tutorial on how to knit a sweater. The first draft of your subject line may read something like, how to knit a sweater. Now, that does speak directly to the customer's goal, but it's pretty basic, right? Not really exciting to read. So step 4 is to go back and add clickbait words. Now the trick here, hear me, is to be clickbaity, shocking, and enticing without being spammy and without lying. For instance, if the subject line said, how to knit a sweater in 45 seconds, that might get someone's attention, but it's also promising more than what's possible, right? As far as I know, it's not possible to knit an adult-sized sweater in 45 seconds. So as soon as someone clicks on that and starts reading the steps in the email, they're going to realize it takes way longer than 45 seconds and that the subject line lied to them. That not only is going to cause them to click out of this email, but it's also going to make them want to avoid clicking on any of your future emails because the trust has been broken. So how can we make that subject line clickbaity without lying? A good tip I have here is to go back and look at your goals and pain points list again. Yes, the customer's goal in this case is to learn how to knit a sweater, but are there any additional goals that they have? Like, do they want to do it on a budget within a certain time frame? Are they intimidated because it's their first time? See how you can tackle other things from the list with clickbait words. Now I want you guys to click pause and jot down the subject line you would write in this case in the comments before I tell you what I would do. All right, here are some examples I came up with to make that subject line more enticing. How to knit a sweater with only $5 worth of material. How to knit the winner at the Christmas sweater party in time for the holidays. How to knit a sweater in 5 steps, even if you've never done it before. So you can see how these subject lines speak even more directly to the customer's goal as opposed to just how to knit a sweater. Now I will say before we move on that in the email marketing for beginners video that I linked, I share what's called spam triggers. Spam triggers are words in your subject line that raise a red flag to the email providers that cause the email to be directed to the spam inbox instead of the regular inbox. And if that happens, your customer is never going to see the email to start with. So you do want to use clickbait words, but if you're not familiar with spam triggers, I would again advise you go check out that video because the two can overlap sometimes and you don't want spam triggers in your subject line. I share some examples of what spam triggers are in that video so that you can avoid putting them in your email. All right, now step 5 is to go back and add emojis if it's appropriate given your brand voice. Depending on the industry you're in, I would say emojis are more often avoided than they are used in email subject lines. So when you do use them, they really pop in a user's inbox. You can use emojis to enhance your message, or you can replace entire words with emojis in the sentence. In this case, with our yarn and knitting supply stores writing our how to knit emails, another niche, timely email subject line could have been how to knit tailor a new scarf with the red scarf emoji. If you know, you know. So if emojis are appropriate for your business and brand voice, I would definitely suggest sprinkling them in every few emails to make your subject line stand out. And those are my 5 steps on how to write a subject line that will make people open and stick around to read the email after they've opened. Now, if you feel like you just don't have the time or energy to execute email marketing on your own, we can handle it for you from top to bottom. So I will leave our contact link below in case you're interested in checking that out. Otherwise, don't forget to check out the other videos I've linked below. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next episode.